I'm excited about our guests today, Cassandra Brunson and Natalie Miles. They are going to share a little bit about tile installment and, of course, more about their work and how that work is as a woman in the industry. So, without further ado, if you all.
Hello, hello, and thank you, Meredith, Willette, Natalie. Thank you for attending. Thank you, Habitat for Humanity, and Miss Brittany Laurie and her team for organizing a dynamic event that's inspiring women who believe that everyone deserves a safe and affordable housing, and providing me with the opportunity yet again to serve my community. We'll hear more about me and serving my community later. Today, we are joined by Natalie Miles. She is also a phenomenal woman. She is a senior designer at Natalie Miles Design and a member of the Utah chapter NAHB, Professional Women in Building. Natalie's chapter formed a leadership team that is comprised of a skilled draftswoman. So I take it was just one of her on the team. Designers and engineers who has completed plans for a 3,200 square feet, two-story home. It's still under construction today. How exciting and extraordinary this is to me. It's just a breath of fresh air. I've never been a part of a team like that. And so now she's aspiring me to see how I can get involved with something like that. Hence me asking Brittany and Meredith, Brittany and Willette, if Habitat for Humanity here has ever ventured in a project like that where we have just women who build the home. So it's an honor to have her with us today, and we'll hear from her later in the presentation. Thank you again, Natalie. So why are we here today? I would say to be inspired and to be an inspiration. So as you know, most of the before COVID, this event was held in person, and you would have the opportunity to network and get to know the people that you are around. And since we can't do that, we can use the chat for sure and stay in touch with each other. So go ahead in the chat and write your names and something about yourself. So tell us if you're closing on your home, your closing date, and if you own a business, provide your website or your social media link. I mean, you never know who will see this later. And then also at the end, I just found this out, but if you're in the chat, there are three little buttons, a little button on the side with three dots that says more. If you click on that, you can save the chat. I might be a little bit slow with that, but I just wanted to point it out because I just learned it recently. And there you go. So if you do that, you still have access to everyone's information and you don't have to actually try to write it down. So let me go ahead and pull up oh, I need to do share screen, Brittany. So today we're going to begin with, let me figure out how to do this. Okay, so today we're going to cover, well, we've already introduced the guests, but my journey, we're going to look at some tile designs, materials, and alternatives, and we're going to hear from Natalie Miles about the house that she built. And then we're going to go to Q&A. And I'm going to try not to keep you guys too long. All right. So, number one, I am a servant. And if you know anything about Habitat for Humanity, then you know that this is a Christian ministry dedicated to a vision of world where everyone has a decent place to live. Therefore, this organization is based on serving its community. And how does it do that? Through volunteerism. So I am also a Christian, and in everything I do, I strive to be a good and faithful servant to God and to my community. That's why I am here today, and I am very grateful for the invitation to present. I'm also grateful to serve my community on numerous other committees and boards around the city of Winston-Salem. I'm a committee member for the MWBE, that's the Minority and Women Owned Business and Enterprises Program. So our committee is charged with the responsibility of evaluating good faith efforts of contractors, leveling the playing field for and by ensuring that women and minorities are granted equal access and resources to construction bids with the city. And I'm also a member of the Home Builders Association, where I serve on the board of directors. Also the PWB, they're going to get me if they hear that, the Professional Women in Building and Career Trades committees. I serve on both of those committees. I'm also an adjunct instructor for Forsyth Technical Community College. And I'm a volunteer, thanks to Brittany, with the Habitat for Humanity, teaching classes on home styling and maintenance through the education and training program. So I've got some experience here with Habitat for Humanity, and I'm very fortunate for that. So the list goes on about my volunteerism, but just a reminder to those who are building homes or whatever, if you have your own business, that to whom much is given, much is required. And that's scripture. That's from Luke 12:48. And I know it sounds cliche-ish, but it really is. So be good stewards over the blessings that God has bestowed upon you. I am also a wife of 24 years to Corey Brunson, who has been just instrumental in everything that I do in my life, from having kids, of course, to my business. And I'll talk about him in that more later. But so I am originally from Sumter, South Carolina, hence my Southern twang. And we have been married for 24 years. Again, this is a picture here from our renewal ceremony. We renewed in Mexico in about 20 years, at our 20th anniversary, so about 4 years ago. But my biggest accomplishment in life are these three beauties down here. This is my daughter, Chelsea. She's 23. She'll be 24 this year. Cheyenne, she's 16. And Callie, she's 14 years old. So my biggest accomplishment to this date is giving birth to them. And they are all just jewels, okay? Again, I'm an educator with, formerly with Forsyth Tech and currently with Forsyth Tech, and entrepreneur. I am the president and principal designer at Design Plus by Cassandra Michelle. And let me tell you, that was a hustle in itself, okay? Hustle, there's actually a definition for that slang term. It is to have the courage, confidence, self-belief, and self-determination to go out there and work it out until you find the opportunities you want in life. So that is exactly what I had to do in order to be here in this studio that you see behind me today. So I started my journey attending college, of course, and I attended High Point University, where I earned a Bachelor of Science in Home Furnishing Marketing and Interior Design. Between High Point University and the University of North Carolina in Greensboro, I attended Forsyth Technical Community College, where I'm now teaching for a short period of time, just until that program at UNCG, Interior Architecture, they only accept a certain number of students at a time, at a year. And so I had to kind of wait for my acceptance. So I did attend the technical college here, which was a great opportunity. So what qualifies me to own this business? I have 13 years of experience, and that comes from retail designer at Natuzzi Italia, where I got to travel and see the world internationally. In Italy, I've been on the West Coast working for them. It was just a great time, but that job was short-lived because of the company's layoffs and turnovers. And so again, you have to go out and create your own. You have to hustle. If it's not given to you, then you hustle until you get it. And then I was the senior designer for Heritage Home Group. So gaining all of this experience meant a lot to me in being able to run and operate this business the way that I do today. But it wasn't handed to me, You got to get that experience. It's very important. If you've ever heard of High Point Furniture Market, and it's owned and operated by a company called International Marketing Centers that are in High Point and Las Vegas. So I worked for them for a while as a tenant improvement specialist. And that's where if a manufacturer of furniture wanted to showcase their product for market, then I would help them go in their showroom and get it prepared and set up for market. And so all of that led me to wanting to own my own business. All of those jobs faded and went away for one reason or another. And so here it brought me to how can I create something of my own? So one fateful day, I'm sitting at my computer and I saw the city of Winston-Salem growing and getting bigger. And if you live here, downtown was being revitalized. And I was like, you know what? I want to be there. I want to be a part of that. How can I be a part of that? And no one was knocking on my door saying, can you come and be a part of this? So I Googled some stuff and I ended up on the city's website, and I learned about a program that they called the Revitalization Loan Program. So even if you don't come from generations of wealth, or and if you don't have any residual income at the end of the month, there's still a way. Look for grants and programs and scholarships that cater to your situation. And that's what I did. And when I found that program, there was $100,000 up for grabs to say, if you place your business in the heart of downtown Winston-Salem, we will give you this money. Well, not give you, but we will we will provide these funds for you, because you cannot walk in a bank as a startup and say, may I please have $100,000 to go chase my dreams? Not gonna happen. So the city of Winston-Salem knew that there were people like me who did not have capital or money to invest in a business. So we found a space in the area that they required us to, and this is the space that I'm in now. And it started out looking like this on the left, and I renovated everything. I was so proud to be able to. Natalie, you'll be proud of me for this too. I renovated this entire space. I mean, I didn't do the work, but I did the drawings and the plans, and they were all, and they had to go through approval through the city. So that meant building codes. And so this, again, all of this knowledge that I learned from other companies that seemed like they were dead ends, don't be complacent where God has placed you, because this means that other things are coming. If you are grateful for what He has put in front of you, there's more to come, but you got to remain faithful and grateful. Okay, so I actually started with this whole business idea in 2014, and we launched. And so I went through in 2014, the idea was planted in my head to have my own business. 2018, so that's 4 years later. That just tells you, don't rush things. It will happen in time. So that's the point of that. So from 2014, the seed was in my head. 2018, it became something real with the state and the federal filing the name and getting a tax ID and getting a sales and reuse license. So things like that started happening. But then it wasn't until 2020, another 2 years later. So now we got from 2014 to 2020, a 6-year difference to when we actually launched the business, to where we celebrated. That's the mayor of our city, Natalie. Everyone else here probably recognizes him. Mayor Alan Joins. I love him, love him, love him. He is all about some small business efforts in the community. So we celebrated on March the 13th. It was a Friday the 13th. I didn't care, no superstition here. I'm like, okay, Friday the 13th, this is the best day of the year for me. However, it turned out to be the worst day of the year, because that was the last weekend that we did not wear masks. If you can see here, no one has on a mask, but COVID was looming over our heads. It was like being talked about, whispered about, but we didn't have to wear masks. So that was our ribbon cutting day, and we were supposed to launch open the doors to the public on the luckiest day of the year, March 17th. Those days were completely backwards for me. So we never launched because that's when the stay-at-home order was enforced. Okay, but we are here. So now, if you look at the dates, it's almost to a year exact that we have maintained and have been blessed to remain in this building and in this space. So what do we do here? I specialize in 3D modeling and rendering, residential and commercial, interior architecture, design education. And since COVID has happened, we opened the space so that we could cater to our customers in a space. But with COVID, that quickly had us repivoting our business plan and business ideas to, we do a lot of e-design work now, which is where the client does a little of the work by providing floor plans and drafts and to us digitally, and then we will then execute interior design services that way through email or Zoom. So that's just the way of the world now. And it's actually been a very a lucrative thing for us. You know, it has made us be creative in some other ways. So so it's not all bad to say COVID wasn't all bad. All right, so since this presentation will be available, I wanted to go ahead and throw in my information so that we can connect later. So you can find me at email, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and we are located, our physical location is 102 West 3rd Street. We're in Suite UP 200, and that's in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Okay, so this is a dreamy, 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 dreamy kitchen. I mean, my kitchen don't even look like this, but okay. So today we are going to figure out how can we achieve, you know, our dream kitchen. It may not be this, and it may not be a kitchen, but specifically we're going to be discussing tile. So that's most of the time found in kitchens and bathrooms. It's other areas of the home, but primarily kitchens and bathrooms. Okay. So this picture is very inspiring to me, but trust me, my kitchen doesn't look like that. Okay, so if you've never taken on a tiling project before, you might be surprised by how many different types of tiles are available to you. Ceramic and porcelain tiles are typically the most popular, but there's so many more like glass tiles, cement tiles, metal, stone tiles, so on and so forth. But to make it even more confusing, not every type of tile works for every type of job. So remember this, although most wall tiles can be used on floors, although most wall tiles cannot be used on floors, most floor tiles can be used on the wall as long as the wall can bear the weight. So, and of course, there's your budget to just complicate things. But in this presentation, we'll learn how to get around that if we need to. So it can be a little overwhelming when you're thinking about tile. And then whether you're shopping for an immediate project or one in the future, I'm going to share with you some of the most common tiles that we use on the floor and the walls, and we'll discuss the best types of home projects to ensure you'll love your remodel for years to come. So we'll talk about the best home projects that you should use each of the tile samples for. And just remember that you can always cover small areas for a big impact, and check with fabricator yards in your area. I know we do have one in Winston-Salem, Carpet One by Henry. We have Pro Stone. They usually have remnants of tiles, and that just means that you can get tile that has been discontinued or discontinued or left over from another job. Okay, so let's just go on. So, oh, I'm sorry, nope. So let me go through the tiles. We have ceramic tile. I did have, see, I can't see, can you guys see that? So I'm gonna go through these different ones. And first, let me just show you this. I hate to be moving the board, but I actually inspiration board for you guys. Okay, great. Can you, oh, you can't see that. You can only see the presentation right now, correct? Okay, so That's also not going to work, and I apologize. I have to just show them to you one by one. These are the challenges of not being in person. So a little bit about ceramic tile. And if you have seen my board, you would have seen how I coordinated it with other colors. So I guess I have to tell you that instead of show you that. Okay, so about ceramic tile, it's one of the most common types of tiles found in the home, and it is suitable for many applications. Its increased durability makes ceramic tile perfect for any room in the house, such as kitchens, bathrooms, and even entryways. It's easy to install and easy to clean. I guess Natalie might tell us about the easy to install a little later. It comes in hundreds of styles and can fit any design. It's at a great price point, and if you're looking for a renovation on a budget, this is one of the ways to go. We'll look at some other ways, but this is one of the ways to go. Okay. Then we have porcelain tile. Let me just find my porcelain sample. Porcelain. This is so gorgeous. And I wish I could show it to you with what I have laid out. I had the paint color, everything. I just hate that I can't do. Maybe once this is over and I stop share, I can show you the total look. Okay, yeah. So we have the porcelain tile, and as you saw, that was a beautiful graphic design on there. That's the way the technology has taken us today. We can have almost anything with almost any materials, and we'll see some of that later too. But about porcelain tile, um, um, the appeal of porcelain comes from its ability to emulate natural stone, brick, or wood, and without any of the maintenance that's required with those other materials. You get the same elegant finish without the unkeep or weathering. It's also all-purpose tile. It comes in a variety of designs and styles and colors, and it allows lots of versatility when designing a space. Porcelain can even be used outdoors as it will not freeze or crack. That is so, so important and so good. Other applications for porcelain tile include bath, kitchen, and high traffic areas, kitchen backsplashes. It is labor intensive and does cost a little more than the ceramic tile. Glass tile. Where's my glass tile? Okay. Bear with me just a moment. This is not the glass towel that I I've had for you guys. So that glass towel size was pretty huge. And you could think about that being applied in somewhere like on the shower wall. Okay, so when you think about all that cleanability, or well, let's say about this, you get less grout lines when you have bigger slabs of tile, and therefore that means less maintenance. So that's one attractive thing about having those larger sizes. But I did have smaller, like mosaic glass towel here to show you, and I just don't know what happened to it. Okay, but now back to some of the benefits or some the characteristics of glass towel. It is stain resistant. The stain resistance of glass makes it a fantastic alternative to natural stone. Red wine and any acidic foods like lemon or vinegar are wiped up with ease without any permanent staining, unlike some of the other towels that we'll talk about or that we know of. This type of towel also offers a clean and minimalistic aesthetic. So designers love it. I know I do. If we're working with clients who are not like over the top and they don't want to be bold. It's a very nice, and it's trending. It's still trending, and I think it's going to be around for a while. And if not, it'll recycle, it'll come back later. Potential drawback is that glass will, of course, chip easily and along the edges. So I recommend not using glass tile in a high traffic area like kitchens and bathroom floors, especially. Instead, use them in smaller applications with less traction, such as gently used tabletops or desks around the fireplace or as a backsplash. Okay. And it is easy to clean, but it is difficult and expensive to install. Cement tile. Is that not fun and pretty? That is, I just love this towel. Cement tile has been around since the 19th century, and currently it is experiencing a bit of a boom in modern design. I totally see that tile in a modern home. They are extremely versatile and can provide you with amazing patterns and colors. Since the tiles are extremely porous, a patina can develop over time to enhance the pattern. They can be sanded and resealed like wood floors. And if they get discolored over time, the biggest drawback is that the tiles, they are a beast to lay. So additionally, cement tile must be resealed once a month to maintain its beauty. It's best in low traffic areas and in small quantities. So yeah, they are beautiful, but there are some drawbacks to them. And that's with anything that you pretty much. Marble tile, one of my favorites today. I don't know if you see that like very faint white veining in there, but this is one of my favorites today. Oh boy. And I think I'm missing some of my boards here. Okay. Though costly, marble tile adds an instant touch of elegance and refinement to any room. Was this, that's just elegance all the way, you know? If you're looking to add beauty to any kitchen or bath, laying down marble tiles immediately upgrades the space. It also delivers textures and depth and is either pattern or vein. And the one that we just had was vein. You'll never have the same piece, and that's what makes it really special. It's quite costly and requires a lot of upkeep, and to make it look pristine for years and years, there's a lot of upkeep. And also, like any other stone, marble is susceptible to scratches and stains, in addition to being difficult to clean. Many homeowners avoid using marble on countertops and instead add marble to a decorative features such as shower floors, columns, and backsplashes. Now, one thing about marble, we're not going to get gloss marbles on bathroom shower floors. We're going to use hone or, not non-polished on the bathroom floor. So I don't want anybody to think that I meant to put this shiny thing on your bathroom floor and you slip and fall and you say you heard it. Cassandra said it at the Habitat for Humanity class. Okay, so by using it in small applications, you give your budget a little breather. So that's the thing to remember. Buy remnants and use in small quantities, and you can cover a little area and make a big impact. Okay, Mosaic Tile gives you a chance to flex your muscle. Oh, I really need my assistant here because the Mosaic Tile is not over here. But what I'm going to do is, instead of me running back and forth, I'm going to, at the end, I'll go grab a Mosaic Tile. But it's like the decorative tile that you place in addition to something else, or you can do a mosaic in the bathroom. People do them in their niches. You might do it on the floor because it has a lot of grout that you have to put in there. And so the more grout, the less slipping in your shower. Okay, so Mosaic Tiles give you a chance to flex your creative interior design muscle since it comes in so many different shapes and sizes, colors and styles, and even materials. Mosaic Tile work best on wall applications when with an accent is needed, such as the niche, the shower niche. So I recommend using it sparingly. Depending on the tile you choose, Mosaic can get dated really quickly. So now I'm seeing a lot of designers, when you say a Mosaic tile, if you think of a shower and you see that one special strip of decorative tile that runs across, maybe sometimes they do it vertical, they do it horizontal, but I'm seeing designers move away from that quickly because of the fact that it can date a home, a shower or a bathroom really quickly. Limestone, I do have my limestone sample. Thank goodness it's right here. Limestone is another type of natural stone to achieve a truly rustic field style with natural stone shades and variations. This is the type of tile you want to go with. So it can get a little rustic real quick because of the textures in it. It delivers, but it's very natural. So it delivers a natural appearance that's almost reminiscent of ancient architecture and design. It's durable but soft. So limestone is also easy to shape and cut for specific patterns and placements. And it is porous. So, you know, it breathes, it has holes, it breathes. And so it's going to collect stains. And if you spill something on it, it's going to get damaged. In order to ensure it lasts a long time, it must be sealed properly to prevent this. Otherwise, it will crack easy and cleaning the limestone can be a pain. So there's quite a few drawbacks to that. To avoid ruining the stone, homeowners need to use natural pH cleaning agents and to avoid citrus and vinegar-based products. So yeah, there's a lot to consider when thinking about that stone. The rich appearance and the variety of colors and size make it a great option for any space, especially outdoors. And that's where I recommend using it, like on a patio to finish a look there. Uh, Many few places in the home. Okay, metal. Metal. How gorgeous is that? I love that anthracite color. Uh, it's so beautiful. So metal countertops. Oh, we're not really countertops, but that's for like a backsplash. Okay. Metal is superior, durable, and chic, and it can make a kitchen look modern really quickly. So although the cost for this type of tile is usually similar in pricing to natural stone, it will certainly withstand the test of time in both look and function. The primary consideration with metal tile is that it tends to scratch, and almost as soon as it's being installed. So it can be a pain. And with me, I don't like to see fingerprints. So if someone touched it and there's a fingerprint on it, I'm going to go wiping. So it's beautiful, but there's some drawbacks to that too. So it works great on like work surfaces and a kitchen bar or a utility room, but I would not recommend it for baths, depending on the climate, nor outdoor use, because you can imagine metal will get hot, and if you touch it, burn you if it's cold. So no outdoor use. All right, so that was my spiel on different types of tile that you can use in the application and where to use them, some of their benefits in relations to others. And now let's talk about some alternatives. Okay, so when we think about tile alternatives, we have vinyl wallpaper, wood planks, laminate flooring. Did you ever thought? Beadboard and paint, and even peel and stick. Okay, it's not a bad word. Okay, so vinyl tile, um, as you can see on the illustration here, there are many benefits to it. You may not think that it goes hand in hand in a kitchen. However, it could be your friend, really. Whether you opt for a floral or a geometric or a speckled pattern, wallpaper can serve as the basis for an exceptionally clever and inexpensive backsplash. Simple to assemble. There are endless possibilities of colors and patterns, as we can see here. It is beautiful. I mean, it functions very well. And it is very durable. It is UV resistance, it's eco-friendly. If you just have to look for the ones that are. It's thin, heat resistance, and water resistance, number one thing, and scratch resistance. So almost all of the tile that we spoke about previously, we had to worry about it being scratched and the maintenance on it and sealing it. You don't have to worry about anything with that. Okay, wood planks. So Joanna Gaines and what's her husband's name? Chip. Think, yeah. Joanna Gaines and Chip have all gotten us to be a little uh shiplap crazy, and the farmhouse. And honestly, I still love it. Like, I wouldn't, it's not my style, but I appreciate it. As a designer, you have to learn to do that. You can't just hone in on your style and block out everything else. So if my client wants farmhouse, I definitely know how to deliver and what materials to use. Okay, and so now you're going to see a couple other examples here that's going to look like that, and maybe you'll think that that's my style. It really isn't. I'm from the country. I'm from South Carolina, but it's just happens, you know. Okay, so now back on topic, wood planks. If you're trying to cover up an unfortunate texture wall without going broke, or you just want to infuse a kitchen with some old school charm, rustic charm, farmhouse charm, plank backsplash is the way that you want to go. It's easy and inexpensive. It will create a crisp looking backsplash. I recommend using what they call Luan plywood. It comes in about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. It's tropical hardwood panel. It remains really soft so that you can cut it with a utility knife. It is dense and stiff and has high bending strength. So it makes it nice. You can cut it easily. You can attach it to the wall using construction adhesive and some waterproof caulk. And then some semi-gloss paint if you want to change the color of it. And you've got yourself a whole new showstopper in your house. It looks really good. Okay. Now, you can do the same thing with laminate flooring. Whoever thought we could do that, right? So, and then look how they applied the laminate flooring to a countertop. So there are so many like tricks and ways to get those looks at a low budget, you know? So laminate flooring, and they're trending right now. Like Christmas backdrops. People are behind panel or plank walls. You see it everywhere. So using real wood can be a hassle, of course, and expensive. So if you use some laminate flooring, again, you can go to a flooring store and be like, you have any extra boxes of something left over from a job? Carpet One, again, they have a remnants room of leftover things. Now, I'm not telling you that they have these materials, but they do sometimes. And I would start there instead of going to a store, a big box store looking for it. And so it gives it, this flooring can give your home a modern look, depending on what color you use, how much wood grain is in the planks, or a homey look, a warm, cozy look. So just think about what style you are. In all of these looks and options that you have, you want to make sure that your personality is coming through and that the style of your home is being carried through. So this is a less expensive look to have versus tile or real wood, and it's really easy to install. The flooring, you can cut it and fit it right into the space and install it. Okay. Basic beadboard, you want to is another expensive way to do things. This powder blue here looks a little cottage and beachy to me, but it's also an accessible material that will give your kitchen a clean, bright look. Again, here is a green one. You can paint it if you want to, and the white one just keeps it clean and crisp. The white one has the clean lines, and it's great for creating an illusion in a space to make it look larger, especially in small kitchens or bathrooms even. It's installed easily. and you can get it in one large sheet and cut it and fit to your space or your area. There's no need to remove an existing backsplash. You can just glue it right on top, or however you glue it, or liquid nails. And if you don't want to keep it white, I think it'll come in white. You can always, like I said, paint it, but be careful of your color selections, because you can really get coastal or beachy or cottage with some color selections. Well, the ones that are here especially. But then if that's the theme in your home, or if you're living on a lake or something, it's perfect. Okay, so if you're painting, just another tip, if you're painting beadboard, use a durable, wipeable paint to make your everyday cleanup easy. Okay, and then simple painting. You can simply paint. This is paint used with stencils. In my first home, I didn't even have a stencil. I had basically, it was just a painted wall. It was blue, and I didn't have money for tile. I didn't have money for backsplash, and I didn't think of the stencil. So it was just a blue wall, and I made sure the paint was, I had the correct finish for the paint so that I could wipe it down easily. Okay, so this is very simple to do, but now we have all these stencil options to make it even better. That's just a example, another example of the stencils, and a young lady actually painting one there. Peel and stick. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. I thank you for your attention. In conclusion, just remember the very first thing that you need to keep in mind is your lifestyle. This alone will dictate what's most suitable material for you when you're working on a tile project. And then from there, you can work out what you want it to look like. That way you get something that looks great and is functional. Remember, there are always alternatives when the goal is to be budget conscious. Without further ado, I am so ecstatic to present to you Natalie Miles, who lives and breathes the mission of Women Build Week, which is to empower women and help families build strength, stability, and independence, to provide opportunities for hands-on learning so that women can succeed in changing their communities. Women Build is not about excluding men, it's about empowering women so that they can learn construction skills in a more supportive environment. Natalie.
Thank you so much, Cassandra. That was so enjoyable to hear your story, and you're definitely an inspiration to me and others. And I really enjoyed hearing you talk about your hustle, especially, me too. Like, I mean, that's it. You've got to hustle, and you're a woman that's definitely put her hustle in to get what you want, and to be able to be successful as a woman. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to go ahead and share my screen here.
I am just,
Okay, can you guys just confirm that you can see mine?
yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm here representing the house that she built. Cassandra has been following us. We've had a pretty good presence online and in the media. NAHB has been a huge supporter of us. We are members of NAHB. We're members of the Utah chapter of PWB. Let's see. I'll just tell a little bit about me. My name is Natalie Miles. I was telling Cassandra while you were logging on and off there real quick. I came into this world the non-conventional way. I grew up in a small town. I grew up in a blue collar family. My dad has always been in construction. He's into plumbing. He's an HVAC technician. My brothers all went into HVAC. And actually one of my first jobs in high school is my brother and I, we went and worked on a job with my dad and we installed HVAC as one of my first jobs. And coming from that background, I've always been really comfortable being in construction. I've spent lots of times when I'm sure I was just a pain in my mom's neck and she sent me to the shop with my dad and my grandpa and my uncles. And I never just like sitting on the stool and playing with pieces of sheet metal and tools and just kind of learning to talk shop and hang out with the boys. And I definitely am tomboy. I've always enjoyed sports. I've enjoyed the outdoors. I enjoy getting a little mud on my hands and on my feet. You know, I don't necessarily fit the role of a traditional girl that likes to be dressed up and pampered all the time. That's just not me. And so to find myself back into the construction world, I couldn't be happier. As I said before, I started out as just staging homes for people. And I started catching on to kind of design elements and colors and what I thought looked good and what didn't. And during the recession, I was doing a lot of this for people that were flipping homes and foreclosed homes. And I really got comfortable in it, you know, to the point they were like, hey, you know, I like your suggestions. Can you put together a package for me? I'll pay you for it. And I'm going to use this for my homes for the next 6 months. And then I'll pay you to put together another package. It's like, wow, you know, like I'm having a lot of fun with this. And now you're going to pay me to do it too, you know? And so I just started taking it upon myself to learn about that. And I would go to continuing education classes at different showrooms, like Ferguson's Plumbing Supply, different tile stores, and, you know, kind of learning everything I could about it. And during this time, it was a recession, and we had a lot of custom home builders here in Utah that were trying to stay in it by flipping homes. But as we're coming out of the recession, then the home builders took me with them. They liked my style, they liked my personality, they liked how comfortable I was on a job scene. And so I went from flipping homes to doing spec homes for builders. And at the same time, I'm learning. And the biggest thing for me is if I don't know something, I'm going to go learn how to do it, or I'm going to ask questions about how to do it. And so I kind of was able to build up my relationships and on the job sites with different electricians and plumbers, because they knew that I was teachable and I was always welcome to learn new information. There was one year with a specific builder, and he was building a home in the Parade of Homes, and you know, I'm still learning at this point. And I asked him, I said, hey, how would you feel about me doing your parade home? And he said, you know what? One time somebody took a chance on me, I'm willing to take a chance on you. And so he let me be the designer for the parade home. And that year we swept the awards in the Parade of Homes. We won every award we possibly could for the Parade of Homes. And from that point, I just became addicted to just being part of the construction process. I love, as a designer, I love being able to spec out your plumbing fixtures, your tile, your flooring, design the exterior, and just see that plot of land from the ground up come into this amazing, beautiful, beautiful building. And so I've worked with I've worked on my own for a few years with different builders, building different homes, and being mostly custom built homes. I went and worked for an exteriors company for a while as their in-house designer, and I specialized in exterior design, and I learned a lot about products and how to install products during that time with them. And then as I've been working on this house that she built, and this next slide, I'll tell you a little bit more about the house that she built. I've been so inspired about these women that are general contractors, and I love being on the job so much that just this year I took a leap of faith, and I was like, I'm ready to just jump out there and be on the job sites again. And I quit my job, and I was immediately hired by this big developer here in Utah as their project manager and designer. And so now I get I get the best of all the worlds. I get to work on the design side of things, but then I get to work on the job sites, and I get to build beautiful, beautiful homes. And so that's just a little about me and my story to where I'm at. I'm actually have goals this year. As soon as I have time set aside for it, I am going to get my general contractor's license. That's just a notch in my belt that I want, and I would just feel complete with that. Okay, so who are we with the house that she built? If you're not familiar, we are the Professional Women Building Affiliate chapter here in Utah. We're part of the National Association of Home Builders. And we're here to support, to lift up, to just be a beacon to other women that are in the industry. There are not a lot of women in construction. I've spent many, many years all by myself on job sites and hardly running into a woman at all. You see them more in designers, architects, and that side of things, but on a job site, you don't see them. And so we're here to represent women. We want to showcase women in construction, and we want to inspire younger generations to come into construction trades. There is a huge labor shortage all across the United States, even worldwide. And women are pretty awesome. I want to say some other words because I work in construction, but I will. We're pretty awesome girls, and there's really great jobs here. And why not fill that void with women in construction? And so what we did here in Utah when we formed our chapter, we were kind of snowballing around a boardroom and talking about, what is our purpose? What are we going to do with this? And an idea was thrown out by actually a male in the boardroom. He said, you guys should build a house by women. And the women in the room kind of looked around each other like, yeah, we can do that. And you know what he said? He said, you guys can't do that. And we took that as a challenge. Like, are you kidding me? Yeah, we can do it. And we're going to show you how good we can do this. And so anyways, we came up with the house that she built. We've decided that we're going to build this house. We are going to highlight women in all trades from the ground up, and we're going to promote them and their businesses. And also what we're doing for this house is a nonprofit home that we're building. Our goals with the sale of this house is that 60% of the funds from this home, we are going to create a scholarship fund for girls that want to go into construction related careers, whether that is a college, whether that's a technical college, going into architect, design, drafts, engineering, or if women want to go into the trades and they want to go to a trade school, or they need help getting their licensing, or maybe they made it through a trade program, but now they need help with tools and they need help getting started into their business. This is what the scholarship fund is for. Another 20% of the proceeds from this house, we are going to give to a local women's domestic abuse center here in Utah. And part of partnership with that is that we're going to be involved with them and getting these women on their feet and hopefully getting them into trades and jobs and getting them into working in the construction environment. And the last 20% of the proceeds from the house, we will hold on to it so that we can do another project like this in another year or two. So we're super proud of this. I am in charge of material donations on this home. We have almost every part of this house donated, which is amazing because that allows more women to be benefits of our scholarship program. On this job, I've jumped in wherever they needed my help. If I didn't know that skill, I've learned how to do that skill. I've tied rebar, I did framing, me and one other girl, we did HVAC. I was like, yep, let's get back to my roots. We only found one girl that could do HVAC. So I jumped in and helped with the HVAC. Right now I am installing brick accent walls in the house. And so I've been really inspired with this job. It's a job that I don't get paid for because it's nonprofit, but I've been really inspired by the women on this job and how much they have taught me. And as Cassandra said earlier, you know, the men in the industry too, we've been very grateful for the men in the industry because we have become across different areas of the build where we can't find women laborers for. They don't exist. We've looked all over the nation for different women, and we've had men that have come in and have taught us how to do something new that we didn't know how to do. So we are grateful for the men. We're not out here to say that men aren't good at what they do and that they're not useful, because they definitely are, and we appreciate to them. But it's been an amazing process to be a part of this build and to meet amazing women in the industry. So, and I can talk more about the house that she built at the end if you guys have any questions or want to talk more about that. I can talk about the house that she built for days. I love it. I'm so passionate about it. But anyways, we want to talk later about that. We can do that later. I'm gonna piggyback on what Cassandra was talking about and give you a little tile 101. I am not a professional tile installer. I can do it. I'd rather leave it to the professionals to do it, but I do know enough to give you some tips here and share with you some of our experiences with tile, particularly on the house that she built. The number one thing that you need to do with tile and to remember is always make sure you have a clean surface, you have a flat surface, and that you prepare that surface. We use a Schluter Curdy board system for our waterproofing and for our base layers. The Curdy board is what's going to help that mortar adhere to your tile, and that's going to help. What's nice about the Curdy board also is that it's all in grids there, and that makes it really easy for you to keep a straight line when you're installing your tile. So when you're about to lay down your tile, what you want to do is you want to find the center of your wall, your center of your floor, and you want to work from your center and work out from there. And so then your cut ends are going to be on the ends of your room, of your wall, and not just when you don't want to walk in the door and all your cut ends are there. That's going to look really, really silly if it's all offset from the time that you walk in the room. So you want to find that center of your wall. And what you're going to do, you're going to take your tile and you're going to all lay it out as if it's going to be on that wall right there, and make sure that you're allowing for your mortar lines. And so once you find that center point and how you want to lay out that pattern, how that tile is going to look, what you're going to do is trace that center tile, and then that's going to be your center point. I'm going to play this is Abby. I want you to meet Abby. She's a tile layer that came out to Utah from Oregon. She came and spent about 2 weeks with us to lay tile for us. And so when you mix your mortar is super, super important. Your substrate is so important. And you're probably wondering why I have a little bottle of minis down there in the corner. You always want to start with your powder first, and then you're going to add water gradually, okay? You want your mortar for your base to be about the consistency of mayo, okay? If you learn anything, remember mayo with tile. You want that consistency to be the consistency of mayo. Once you mix up your mortar there, what you want to do is walk away from it. That needs to sit for about 10 minutes, okay? So go and grab the mayo from your fridge, make a turkey sandwich, a ham sandwich, whatever your pleasure is, but go make a sandwich for a minute. Let that sit. So when you come back after having your sandwich, you're going to come back and you're going to scoop out some of this mortar, and you're going to spread it along your base where you're going to go. The important thing here is that you are not going to work with a really large area at a time. You don't want to get that mortar down there and get to a spot that you're not going to be able to reach with the tile, number one. Number two, you don't want to get too much mortar spread out to where it's going to dry before you have your tiles properly laid on there. And so you can see the bottom picture by the Mayo too. You can spread that out, and then you're going to put grooves in it with your notch trowel. And kind of a rule of thumb with that, the bigger the tile, the bigger your notches need to be. But there are literally like 1,000 how-to videos on tile, and they can give you more specific information about proper trowel size and notches. But you're going to put those all in a linear fashion. You're not going to swirl that around. Those are all going to be lined up pretty, perfect lines. Okay, perfect lines, Mayo. Those are the things you need to remember from this. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to the next slide if I can. Okay. Once you have that down, what you're going to do is you're going to butter the back of that tile. And I should have gotten, I was going to get a little gif of Fabio, saying, I can't believe it's not butter, but anyways, I didn't have time to do that. So what you're going to do is that you're going to take the back of that tile and you're going to butter it. And this system that we used here and I highly, highly recommend Perfect Level Master. This is what we use for our grout lines and for keeping our tiles even. It's a really, really great system. So basically what you're going to do, you're going to butter the back of your tile, and then you're going to put it down on your base coat there. And you've watched Abby, she's going to just kind of wiggle that a little bit, and that's going to get the air out of it. And that's going to cause a really tight grip there with the mortar on the back of your tile to the base. Okay. And that wiggling back and forth is going to get out any air pockets there. Something that I want to point out here also is that you're going to make sure you butter that entire back of that tile. Okay. We don't want just partial coverage, and you definitely do not put globs on it. I've seen bad tile jobs where they just put globs on it. And if you're walking on that, those globs are not going to fill that whole entire back of that tile as much as you wiggle around. And once you get walking on that, high heels or different things, then those are going to be areas that are going to crack. So you want to butter that entire thing, rub it in there, put your spacers in there, create that seal. This is a tool that she's using right now by Perfect Level Master to get those little wedges that go in there. What those do, they're going to keep all these tiles even with each other. I mean, there's really nothing worse when you're walking through a finished tile room and you have that one tile that's just a little bit higher than all the others, and you're constantly rubbing your toe on it, and it's really annoying. So this is why we love Perfect Level Master. Number one is that they donated to this project and they support women in construction. So anybody that wants to support women in construction, we want to support them too. It is really expensive. Tile spacers in the system is really inexpensive. But that's going to keep all these tiles level to each other. And then she's going through there with the tool and she's cleaning out any excess mortar with her tool. Another way to keep if you don't have the Level Master and you're just using your basic spacers, you always want to make sure that you have a level on site with you and you're constantly checking those other tiles to make sure that they're even. You can ruin a tile job really easy by just not making sure that everything is level. Okay, this is Maria. I'd like you to meet Maria. Maria came to us from Washington State. She's originally from Brazil. And it's kind of funny how she got into tile is that her and her husband bought a place and they're remodeling, and she learned how to do tile, and she loved it. She's like, you know what? I guess I want to do this now. And so Maria was a sweetheart. She came out for about 2 weeks as well and worked on her job. This is just a cute little 4, video. 3, 2, 1. Level up, level up, level up, level up, level up. We had a lot of fun on our house that she built. If you follow us on social media, and I'll show that at the end here, a lot of fun videos, a lot of fun people that we met were on the job. One thing I would just want to talk here really quick about mosaics. You can see Abby on that bottom left, she did a shower floor in mosaic. Most shower floors are done in mosaic because there is you have to be angled down to the drain. And that's harder when you have a larger format tile to get that to angle down to your drain. So most people will use the Mosaic. And with the Mosaic, kind of like the peel and stick that Cassandra was showing earlier, is that it's more like a puzzle piece, and you just want those to fit nicely together and make sure that all your lines are together on that. That hardwood block picture that's there, that's just to show you that that's a good way to make sure that's all pushed down hard. Put that across your surface. That will help keep your surface even when you're installing a mosaic. It's just using a simple hardwood block, and once you have your sheets laid down, just rub that block over there, and that will get your bondage, and that also will keep your tiles even using that. 4, 3. There we go. Okay, let's go to now we're gonna grout. Okay, so now we don't have mayo anymore. Now we have the peanut butter. This is the other thing that you're gonna learn about. So when you're mixing your grout mortar, you want that to come to the consistency of peanut butter, okay? Always add your dry powder first. The tool up on top, that's the tool that you're gonna use to mix with. Don't use like a blender or electric. I know it's easier to have an attachment to a drill to mix that with you, but what that's gonna do, that's gonna introduce more air to your mortar, and you do not want the air in there. That's where you're gonna get cracking, falling apart. We're going to use this trowel up there to do your mixing. So when it comes to your grout, you want the consistency of peanut butter, okay? And at this point, you're going to stop what you're doing. You're actually going to leave and go make yourself a peanut butter sandwich, and you're going to let that sit for 10 minutes again, okay? Very important for that sitting time. The reason that we're letting that sit is that we're introducing water to the powder to make this mortar. We're activating the chemicals in there, and they're going to help. Those polymers are going to bond with each other, and so we have to give those guys time to do their chemistry and for those materials to bond. So make sure you're giving that a good 10 minutes to sit before you start working with it. Once you're ready to start working, you're going to just make sure that your grout lines are all clean, that they're ready for some mortar. And then you're going to put that on your trowel, and you're just going to smear that all over the place, and you're going to pull that at a diagonal angle. That diagonal angle is going to be able to get that mortar deep into those lines and get that pushed down so that all those grout lines are really full with that grout. And then you're going to go back over it, that kind of middle top picture, the S snake motion. You're going to go over that you're going to kind of squeegee that off with your trowel. And you're going to follow the lines in just this kind of serpentine manner, and that's going to fill any voids in those grout lines, and then that's going to help clean off the excess grout off of your tile. And then you always have sponges. Sponges and water is on jobs all the time. And so at this point, you want to go and clean off those tiles, because once that grout dries on there, it's going to be really hard to get off. It's kind of the point to not come off. So make sure while that is still wet that you're cleaning as you are working. That's super important. And then the last picture is caulk. You want to get a sanded caulk. You can get this in the colors, same color that you're getting your grout in. That's going to come in a caulk tube like that. And your inside corners, you're going to go ahead and you're going to fill that in with your sanded grout. So that's basically my tile story 101. Like I said, there are a lot of options online to go and learn more about tile. Really, it is not that hard to take on. Just jump in and do it. That's everything that I've ever done. Just jump in and do it. Go ahead first and do it. I just want to close out a little bit more about the house that she built. I really love what Habitat for Humanity is doing, and having women involved with their builds and their mission and everything that they do. It's always been a huge inspiration to me. The women that are in construction, women out there that are trying to get into construction, or women that are just out there just trying to work on their own projects and do it themselves, and they want that empowerment to do themselves. I look up to women so much. I love seeing other women succeed, and being in this industry and meeting like-minded women that that just want to go out there and they want to put that hustle in, and they want to get in there and they want to slay it. They are such an inspiration to me. And I think as women, I think that it's good to be inspired by other women, but at the same time, we always need to remember that we need to support other women as well, you know. And I do. I am honored to death to know the women that I've met in this line of work and on my journey, and being part of different committees and organizations. I definitely am a big fan of women that get out there and put the hustle in for what they do. Big news, this is the part where I get emotional. We have coming out soon a book inspired by our story, what we're doing here in Utah with the house that she built. And so we're super excited about this. Our next step with what we're doing is that we want to get into schools. We want to get out there. We want to share our stories with the younger generations, and we want to inspire them. We want to get in their career days. We want to go to secondary schools, kids that are struggling, and we want them to know that there is a place for them. There is absolutely a place for everybody in this industry, and we want them here. And we want to inspire people to be here. And we're so excited. We're so excited to share our story. We're so excited that all of you are here listening to me now and get to hear our story. If anything is taken from this project, is that we really hope that we inspire other people to, you know, if they're questioning what they're doing or what they should do with their lives, is we want to inspire you. You know, there's so many different things that you can do in different trades, whether you're working on site, whether you're learning to do tile, whether you're doing finished carpentry, whether you're a designer, where you want to go into engineering. There really is a place for women, and we really want more women out here in this industry. It's definitely a man-dominated industry, and I would love nothing more than to see more women out on the job sites. And so this book will be coming out. We're going to be showcasing it. We're going to be in the Parade of Homes. It's where we are launching our house that she built. That's where this book will be launched to. It'll be available through NAHB. We'll be at different events throughout the next year, construction events, women in construction. I can't remember all of them, but there's going to be a bunch of them. So coming out, I got goosebumps. I'm really excited. I'm really excited about this. And, but we would love for you to continue following our story. I would love to follow your stories and see everything that you're doing within Habitat for Humanity. Whether the guests on here are, you know, are you remodeling? Are you working on a new home? Give us a follow. We'd love to follow you back and see what you're doing. We'd love to see you out there hustling and slaying out there. Take a screenshot or whatever you want of this. Follow us on a house that she built at Instagram and on Facebook, and we have our website. And anyways, I'm really grateful to be here to share my story and hopefully inspire you and hopefully give you some tips about tile. Teach you a little bit about mayo and butter, peanut butter, and how that comes into to the play when it comes to tile. So anyways, I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to be surrounded by you women here today, and thank you very much for having me.
Wow, thank you both. I'm kind of tearing up too, because I'm thinking about my 3-year-old. My father was a brick mason, so I'm one of those. I grew up around the dusty construction sites and all of that. And now my 3-year-old is saying, "Mommy, I want to build a home. I want to build a building." And so I'm like, I have got to get her on a construction site so she can know that it is possible. That's not just a man's job. It's a job for anybody who wants to do it. And so I'm so inspired by the wonderful just design abilities that you have, Cassandra and Natalie, your story with how you're empowering women to do their thing on construction sites. And to me, this is a great kickoff for Women Build. You kind of gave us some technical things, but you shared the background of why it's so important that women build, and not just homes internally, but physically get their hands on some things. So it's been an incredible delight. I can't wait to get my hands on that book. My daughter's library. I'm really excited about that. So thank you so much for sharing today. Thank you.
Yeah. Natalie's got me wanting to visit Utah. The pictures were gorgeous. And then also your home being in the Parade of Homes. When is ours? So I hope they don't overlap, because I may be on a plane to Utah.
Yeah, come
I
out.
want to see
So-
it so badly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in June, mid-June. So come on out. And we'll have virtual tours. I'll send you guys link. It will be on a virtual tour for the Parade of Homes. So yeah.
Does anyone have any questions about anything?
Do you know, I'm absolutely amazed. Willette, I'm sorry, I'm amazed that we got through this whole hour and a half. I was like, an hour and a half is too long, but I mean, wow.
Yeah.
It flew by, didn't it?
I was just going to say that you both are associated with PWB, and in 2016, Habitat had a women's hands-on home maintenance program, and it was called Women's Work. It was called Women's Work, and we had PWB partnered with us, and they provided live coaches. They also assisted the instructors. They taught some of the classes, but they provided coaching to the women who attended. Like if they wanted to do a project and whatever we had, they could call and be hooked up with one-on-one with a coach that could help them through their project. So, and that was the local chapter. So thank you very much for being involved in that, because that too made a difference too. We had over 100 women who participated in that program. So lots of people learned skills from that 1-year program. And I'm also interested in the book too. I mean, that we could use that in our, we could have it in our library. Right now, I work with Habitat's Youth Empowerment Program. And so that would be an awesome add to our library.
Yeah, I'll absolutely make sure that you guys keep updated on and when we're going to have that book. It'll be available in June is what I've been told. So we'll make sure that's available to you.
Thank you both.
Can I ask Cassandra a question?
Of course. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, this is Meredith. I have some tiles that I got from Maya Angelou's house after she had passed, and they had they were selling all of the stuff.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
Box of tiles.
Look
I
at
found a
Natalie.
box of tiles in the garage. So I was super pumped about them. And I want to put them up as like a backsplash kind of behind my stove. Because it's not a bunch of them, it's just a few of them. But is that a good place? Are they good as far as like if stuff splashes, is it easy to wipe off? Because they're ceramic tiles, so
yeah, I was gonna say it depends on what kind. Again, are they glazed? Do they have a glaze on
yes.
them?
Mm-hmm.
If they have a glaze on them, I would say yes. And then also you have to think about can they be cut easily? Like how large are they? Because
They're small.
They're small.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe
Even
3
small
by
ones
3.
Even small ones sometimes require a wet saw. And I'll let maybe Natalie talk more about this because Natalie definitely have more experience on the installation side, and I have more experience on the style decor side. But my input to that is if they're glazed, they should be okay. And then you want to think about how labor intensive it is to get the edges to looking good. Natalie?
Yeah, no, I second that. And yeah, I didn't talk about that in my presentation, but when you're cutting tile, just make sure that you're using a wet tile saw. And you can rent those really inexpensive. I mean, you can buy them inexpensively, but I would recommend renting a higher grade one from like your Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever like that. If you try to chisel that or just use like a handheld saw or whatnot, then that's going to crack the tile. So yeah, definitely make sure you use a wet tile.
Wet saw.
Yeah, wet saw. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome.
I do have a question. I know a lot of times I see people work with epoxy and even using unconventional materials. Like I know we've all seen the floors, they have the pennies or the countertops or what have you. So is that a normal thing in the industry to use epoxy, or is that just something that people kind of use?
I would say it's not a normal thing. It's very, you really, especially with the epoxy, you really have to know what you're doing. It definitely is an art. I don't think it's something that just the everyday person, you know, they'd have to be very ambitious to take on something like that. It is definitely hard and unconventional. Yeah.
Yeah, I've used epoxy only in one application, and that was on concrete. And it's like you can, people use it like for commercial, some commercial jobs, but it's unconventional for a home project. I would say that, a residential project.
Yep.
Any other questions? Oh, I do have, I'm sorry, because I was thinking about the different trends you were talking about, Cassandra, with the laminate flooring. And I have seen where you have maybe an island that has a wooden piece of wood, you know, it's like a wood island or something. Would you be able to use laminate as like a chopping board, or is that just for looks?
No, well, the laminate, I wouldn't cut anything directly on there. I would get a cutting board if you're going to actually cut on it. But what I think you may have been seeing is a butcher's block. It's beautiful countertop. But yeah, I think maybe you're talking about the butcher's block, and there's some drawbacks to that because it's also porous and you have to clean that. You know, you don't want to cut some meat on it one day and don't clean it well, and then the next day you have E. coli or salmonella or whatever you get from raw meat. So it's beautiful, but there's a lot of maintenance required in that. But you can definitely get that look from a laminate application. Whereas, but you know, laminate can cut, you can scratch that. So I would then, if you have laminate on the countertop, then put a cutting board there to like cut your meat. I mean, does that answer your question? I don't.
No, that definitely does. And thinking about a cutting board, like you say, it breathes. And so having the onion smell or whatever you were cutting on your
Yeah, you got to be just very cognizant of that and be ready to have your Lysol kitchen cleanup stuff to clean that stuff right away after you use it. Yeah.
Does anybody else have anything else? Well, if not, I will not hold you all. Thank you so much. And it is funny, we used all of our time.
We did. I thought it was too much. I was like, no, an hour and a half. No, but
yeah, so we learned something today. We learned a lot. It was well spent though. And again, thank you so much for the moderators. Thank you for everyone that came. And make sure to visit habitatforsight.org for our sessions for the remainder of the week. And I look forward to seeing you all soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all of you. And thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Brittany, for having me.
Bye. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Meredith. Bye-bye.